The class goes on quietly. The teacher seems like an okay person despite the weird first impression I got, and the material is relatively interesting. However, the way he teaches is really bizarre. It's as if he expects that everyone is a natural genius. The hallway is quiet and empty with Shizune and Misha gone, so we too leave towards the stairwell at the other end. Every 10 or 15 or 20 steps I have to change the can from one hand to the other because the thin handle cuts into my palm. At least it keeps my arms from tiring too fast. Rin strolls on beside me with an uneven pace that I have trouble matching. Or maybe I'm walking weirdly because of the extra weight. I was about to say it's probably that, mate. It seems one of us is constantly walking too slow or too fast, but I can't figure out which. 2 flights of stairs. Trouble appears in the form of the head nurse and his fox-like grin. Ah, Mr. Nakai, what a happy coincidence. Tezuka too, of course. He seems well too enthusiastic for a nurse. He nods courteously to Rin, who does not acknowledge him back. Then he turns to me because obviously it's me who he had some business with. There is something I forgot to mention on Monday. Suddenly he stops smiling, which worries me somewhat. I nod and wait impassively because I can't even begin to guess what he forgot. The feeling of the handle delving deeper into my skin doesn't make me feel enthusiastic about this interruption either. It's about your medications. Since you haven't been that long on your current medications, there might be some unexpected side effects, which might require adjusting dosages or even changing to another kind of medication. Brilliant, okay. So we will do a few tests regularly, but what I want is for you to keep an eye on everything in your condition that feels off, if you get what I mean. Nausea, headache, anything. And come and see me if something happens. Brilliant. Yeah, he's still smiling, which is worrying. Alright, so how are you? Everything fine? I give up, drop the can on the floor before answering him. Apparently this takes longer than my biceps can handle. I'm about to say something generic as an answer, but then I realise how often I've done that lately. Other people have asked me that too, teachers and students here. My parents, visitors, nurses, doctors at the hospital. Everyone seems to be concerned about that. It's natural for a hospital. Not so much for a school. Except this school. This is a small school, and both the student base and the faculty seem to be very tightly knit. At least that's the feeling I'm getting. Why is he winking? Oh dear. And this is not the kind of school that gets transfer students too often. The thought sends shivers up my spine, but I give a generic answer anyway. That's great! Also, one other thing. My sources tell me that you've been at neither the school track or nor the pool, so I'd like to know if you've taken up exercising as I've asked. Of course I haven't, but his way of inquiring gives me the feeling that I should have been running my ass off on the track from the very first day. You have people spying on me? Not as such, I just happen to know a few people, but that's not the issue here, so don't try and slip out of it. Well, actually, I was just doing some improvised weightlifting as an exercise. I pick up and lift the can up and down a few times like some sad imitation of a bodybuilder, even though it's weighing down on my arms painfully. The stupid grin disappears from his face for a second, then it comes back like it was never gone. Tezuka, would you give us a second? The nurse grabs me by the shoulder without waiting for Rin's permission, which he didn't need in the first place, and drags me aside. When I told you to exercise, I wasn't joking. I understand that you're still on your first week and all, but please don't ignore the importance of this. The reason I'm coming down this hard on you is that habits are not easy to form. The more you slip and postpone, the harder it'll be. It'll be the same with everything like dieting. Can you promise me you'll be more serious about this from now on? Oh god. Yeah, this is the first time I've seen him serious. I think saying maybe would be a stupid idea. Yes. Yeah, I promise, definitely. He studies me for a moment and shrugs, smiling again. Okay, that's more like it. If you go to the school track tomorrow morning, you'll meet my spy, who probably has no qualms offering consultation to you if you want to jog a bit. Consultation? See you around. Okay. Well, that was unexpected. He leaves with a wave of his hand and no answer, but I walk to Rin, who has been waiting, idly leaning against the hallway wall and staring at the pale lighting fixtures in the ceiling. Even when I approach, she doesn't move her eyes off them. Are you getting medication, sweetheart thingy? Were you listening? It comes out more accusatory than I intended, accidentally lashing out on her. But even so, I don't really want to start talking about it. I just met her. I don't know her. It's not her business. The nurse seems to be happily ignorant about confidentiality too, talking about that kind of thing in public. But it's not Rin's fault, is it? I look up at her, suddenly feeling a bit guilty, but Rin is just staring past my shoulder quizzically, her head tilted like a bird's. I don't know why this is so hard for me. It feels like there is some inexplicable lock that prevents me from being more upfront about this. Yeah, they're for my heart. Will they make you better? No, not really. They're just making me a little worse. Rin keeps looking at me for a while longer, and she neither says anything further nor displays any kind of emotion I could discern. I'm thankful that she doesn't. I think I'm still not quite used to all of this. At the hospital, it was easy. I still hadn't sorted my feelings about having to live a normal life with this disability. We leave the main building and Rin leads us onwards towards the dorm. We stop at the small patch of greenery in front of the dorm building. The dorm is built on a slightly elevated ground, with a wall and a few trees that everyone has to circle around every time they come or go. It's probably the only inconvenient design in the school. The entire wall, made of the same kind of bricks as the building itself, has been covered with some sort of painting. Most of it is still mere sketches, quick lines drawn with black and white against the grey plastering that covers almost the entire length of the wall, but some places look a little bit more finished. There are human faces and legs and hands. I can't quite say what the painting as a whole might portray. Stacks of what seem to be paint cans are arranged in piles on the ground beside the wall. See, the left side is hardly off the ground yet. It's because I couldn't get in the mood yesterday, so I gave up and went to meditate instead. Then it was suddenly morning. I have to work on it, but the guys from art class are helping me with the negative spaces and bollocks, I accidentally skipped a bit. It's easier to paint big areas if there are a lot of people with hands. The reach is better and it's faster too. She goes on a tangent of a tangent, waving a little with her arm, or whatever of it there actually is, to demonstrate even though I got the point already. The white cotton of her sleeve flaps around and makes me think that it could look sadder than it does. You'd think she'd just have a short sleeve t-shirt, wouldn't you? That might just be me being silly though. But it makes me feel out of place, like almost every tangible reminder of the student base, special properties, has been in the past few days. This girl doesn't notice my dreary feelings, of course, or the fact that she has lost me a while ago already and just keeps on babbering. So that's why I'm trying to figure out if there's something I need to figure out and then figure that out before it's too late and all hope is lost. Why would the hope be lost? Because paint has to be painted, and then it has to dry, and then it has to be painted over with another kind of paint. It takes time. She finally stops, apparently thinking she made some kind of statement that makes sense. She didn't. She sounded like a philosopher that had just come out of Star Wars. I think it's best to start from the top. So, this is your project? You did this? Yes, yes. All of it? Yes. Nice, but I stumble with my words, suddenly feeling like I've walked straight into a minefield of political incorrectness. I really don't think she minds. It's okay, you can say it. I probably won't get mad. Probably. Brilliant. I blush really hard. I don't really know what would be the right thing to say, if any. It feels like I'm more sensitive than Rin is, though. This is really awkward. Don't you want to ask? How do you paint without your hands? See, I'm an easy person to talk to, right? With my feet. You know, I was going to say that, but then I chose not to. I almost guessed that already, but isn't that hard to do? You're good at guessing. Anyway, I don't think it is, but maybe I'm used to it by now. I can't get my mind around the fact that she could be an artist, but seeing how adept she was using her feet to eat, I figure that painting might not be a problem either. Neither of us has anything more to add to the subject. The afternoon light works pretty well. I was afraid it would look too flat, but it's not like that after all. I think it's pretty interesting. I wanted to see what it looks like more in a dim light. Do you think it's flat? Well, paintings tend to be flat. Not like that flat, you know, flat, like some people are. No substance, no meat where There should be some. Like that problem she was discussing earlier. I know a few girls who... Okay, I get it. But I couldn't really tell. I'm not that good with art. I can't name any artists or artistic terms. So I don't really have anything to say. Rin shrugs her shoulders at that, saying suit yourself without saying it, and looks up at the sky as if trying to look for something up there. I didn't think I'd get any actual work done. But if you give me a hand with the paints, I could do a little before it's too dark. I wanted to get a halogen lamp, like one of those they have at the sports track, but there aren't any. Rin is quick to recruit my help, as will Shizune. It really makes me feel that the festival is such a big project that every pair of hands is needed. That pair of hands... Don't tell me I'm the only one who noticed that. Come on. Oh dear. Why not? I'm not really sure if I can be of any help though. It's just mixing some paints. You can probably do that. Probably. Do you have motor control problems? Like, you know, those people who have some? Cerebral palsy, maybe. Not that I know of. I get it. Heart thingy has nothing to do with that. She gives me a sly look for no reason. No, it doesn't. Let's do it then. So she sits on an empty wooden box and very naturally picks up a wide brush between the toes of her bare right foot. I open with a few cans and pour some of the contents into shallow bowls for mixing. The thick paints flow lazily from the can to the bowl, like syrup. I mix them, creating funny, hypnotic-looking swirl patterns that melt quickly into each other to form a new monotone hue. Rin sets to work, every now and then asking me for a hand with something or the other. Finding different brushes is easy though, but mixing paints to be the exact tone as this girl is apparently seeing in her head is a frustrating ordeal. She wants precision down to the last millimetre before she is satisfied, but her instructions are obscure at best. Add half a splash of green. I crouch down to pick up a can of bright green. The other green, this green. I carefully pour some into the other green paint to the mixing bowl. No, that's almost the whole splash, more white. Oh wow, I would kill her if someone did that. I don't like art at the best of times. Is green a good colour to add? No idea, you're the artist here. A hint of smile appears in the corners of her mouth. Do you lack an opinion? No, it's just that I have no idea. It's okay, because I just got an idea. Add more white. With this exclamation, I pour a minuscule amount of white into the bowl and mix it. It looks slightly whiter. That's not good. It has to be like the colour when you wake up and you know that you saw the meaning of life in your dream but can't remember it. Maybe it's yellow. Brilliant. Despite the impossibility of mixing a colour like the change of seasons or any other nonsense that's being imposed on me, I found myself enjoying it more than I thought I would. Seeing a painting being born on the plastered wall feels like magic. I spend the moments I have between mixing paints, crouching down on the paving, and just looking at her work. It feels slightly intrusive at first, like breathing some imaginary intimacy, but Rin doesn't seem to mind the least bit. Maybe it's just in my head. Her entire presence emits a completely different air as she patiently works the details, adding layers of paints on the top of other layers of paint, steadily moving her foot across the wall to add new shapes. When I manage to produce a passable mixture of paint, the rare smile on her face is oddly rewarding. Apart from a few words when discussing paint mixes, neither of us say the word for the longest time. And even those short discussions soon evolve into a shorthand, both of us developing and using a weird impromptu words for various paints and hues. I don't know what hue is, by the way. I'm just going to put that out there. I have no idea. As if there was some need to converse words and breath and sound. Oh, now it's very dark. Now we should probably get in. We stay there till late in the evening until it becomes too dark to paint properly. I wonder what Lily and Hanako are doing for this thing. If anything at all. I'm just trying to think of all the things in my head, and when normally I like to joke about this kind of thing, I can't really joke about it with this game, so I'm not going to. The sound of an alarm pulls me out of a fitful slumber and into an unpleasant state of wakefulness. I linger under the blanket for a few minutes, gathering energy to rise up while making excuses as for why I already haven't. Honestly, I wouldn't mind staying here all day. School is surprisingly exhausting. after a long pause, and the culture shock still has not faded, I think. Still, despite getting an impression that skipping class is easy here, I don't think they're going to let me get away that easily. And the nurse is bound to keep breathing down my neck with the talk of exercising as well. So eventually I do rise up, swallow the morning medications and put my old soccer clothing. Thanks to my condition, I was exempted from taking part in gym classes at Yamaku, though I didn't get issue with the gym outfit. I'd order some cover with such a contingency, but wearing my old soccer clothes is kind of nostalgic. I can't use them for that anymore, so maybe they can get a new life this way. A bit like me. After all, if I'm going to start taking care of myself, I can't afford to slack around. I'll start from the basics. Basics which include keeping the rest of my body in shape, along with what little I can to do strengthen my heart. Maybe then I can go back to something approaching normal life, or at least something where I'm less likely to fall over dead any moment. Right, does have a good look of outlife, doesn't he? What's that noise? Is someone constantly... Is there an army marching with pairs of scissors? What the hell is that? I'm surprised to discover that I'm not the only one present at the track. Not just that, but it's a face I've seen before. The prosthetic leg girl who bowled me over in the hallway yesterday is running on the track lithely, like a half-mechanical gazelle. What's her name again? It was a short one, I can't remember. She seems to be running lap at a somewhat easy lope, her prosthetic legs clacking rhythmically on the hard track surface. See? That's why I don't make jokes, because they can come back to haunt you like that. Oh dear, I wonder what reason she has for running this early in the morning. Maybe it's something akin to mine. And the nurse oppressing the poor girl to jog, just like he is oppressing me. I certainly wouldn't be here if it weren't for my health, but he's prompting me to do so. And even with things being like they are, it's only because I wanted to get out of the way early. The fact that I would be less likely to encounter someone who would witness my pitiful attempts to get in shape was merely a happy accident. I'd leave, but it seems that if my former assailant noticed me on her last lap, she waves at me cheerfully and jogs over. Twin Tails girl. Good morning, your name is Sisao, right? Well, I thought your name was Rin, so that shows how much I remember. She grinned, seemingly pleased that she'd remembered my name. You may not remember me. I knocked you over in the hall yesterday? How could I forget such a, blunt introduction? Emmy! That's what her name is. Emmy has the decency to look vaguely apologetic for a moment before giggling. Yeah, sorry about that. Again. Well, so long as you don't make a habit of it, I suppose I'll be fine. Great! I'm not sure she realised I was joking. So the spy consultant the nurse was talking about, is that actually you? That's right. Oh, I was expecting someone from the nursing staff, to be honest. What? Are you saying I don't look like I could be a spy? No, this is more of a relief. I was afraid he'd have someone to watch my every move. Unless you are here to do exactly that. No, I'm here for my own reasons. The nurse just asked me if I had seen a messy-haired transfer student who looks like he's kind of lost around the track. Oh dear, it definitely has a quirky, weird sense of humour. I wouldn't say quirky, just outright weird sense of humour. So why are you down here? Emmy strikes a dramatic pose. Training? For what? Track. Ah, I see, you're on the track team then. Emmy nods enthusiastically. Yep, I'm one of the better runners too. I'm modest about it too. Hey, you should join up. It's good exercise, you know. I think that much activity is probably out of question for me. Nah, I'm not even sure I really like running all that much. Plus, I'm just not into organised sports, you know. It's true, I've never even got that much into football. I mean, I'd run about with my friends and all, but that was the only reason I ever played. It wasn't for the glory to be on the field, that's for sure. Emmy seems to understand my meaning. I see, not into the whole organisation thing. But now that you're here, I guess we're going to run together, huh? What? Sure, I guess. Emmy seems pleased. Are you going to warm up? Real men don't warm up. Oh no, you should always warm up. Bad, Hisao. Sorry, I must have forgot beforehand that I was 4. She scolds me enthusiastically and then smiles and leans closer. I hate warming up too. She laughs suddenly. Heck, I don't even have to stretch my legs. As if to confirm her statement, she bounces up and down a couple of times, giving her a passing impression of standing on a pair of springs. Her leg blades seem to be quite elastic, that's why they're blades. Let's go. So we both take her round the track, and I can immediately see that she wasn't lying about being good at running. Emmy moves fluidly, throwing herself into the run like with a sort of wild abandon. I find myself concentrating more on running properly. Hands spread, right? And something about hitting on the balls of your feet rather than the heels. No, I've done that before. It's a shocking idea. It ruins your calves. I try to match my stride to Emmy's, but it's pretty difficult. Before people actually correct me on what I just said, I've always had a problem with my legs. I've got a medical condition with my legs. I just like to point that out. Right. Apparently I'm not very good at it.